Hey guys, welcome back to Confusing Bits. I'm Corey, and today we're going to talk about Donald Duck and Pixilated Parrot by Carl Barks. So, it's too long, didn't read. This is fantastic. Classic comic book. If you're kind of interested in reading some like classic comic books or whatever, if you yeah, if that interests you, it's just thoroughly delightful. It was very easy read. This is only like 200 pages. I do, if you kind of want to do a visual novel or a comic book or something like that, it's, some of the best, from what I can gather, some of the best early examples of comic book that you can get. So anyway, highly recommend it. But if you want to more, let's stick around and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so this book, so all of these comics, this Donald Duck comics, I got, first of all, why did I get this book? Was this like way out of left field, even for me? I don't read a ton of comic books, but I was watching a YouTube video. I totally forget where. I'm never going to be able to find it. I'm never going to remember to put a link, but should that happen, it will be in the description. I just don't think it's going to happen. But there was a video about the most famous Disney animator that you've never heard of, or Disney artist that you never heard of. And it was kind of like a documentary, and it's about this dude, Carl Barks, which wrote all of these comic books. And I had no idea, that's him, I had no idea how popular this comic book was. So apparently, back in the day, the Donald Duck comic was like an entire empire. And like even outselling like DC Comics and whatever, Marvel, before Marvel was Marvel, before all of those, the superhero comics, you had Donald Duck, and Donald Duck was the big comic book. Of course, the Disney the Disney animation, they had Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. But from what I can gather, Donald Duck really got really fleshed out in his comic books. And this, going through these comic books, reading and everything, like I could see like how much of what I know about, because I used to watch DuckTales and Darkwing Duck, you know, when we were kids. I didn't really watch a lot of Mickey. I didn't watch a lot of Goofy. There just wasn't a whole lot of comics, but saw a lot of Donald Duck. And like Disney is famous for the mouse ears, right? But for me, it seems like Disney was more about Donald Duck to me, and I never really put that like a conscious thought in my head until I started reading this book, and I was like, yeah, everything that I used to watch, it was just straight up pure Disney stuff that wasn't like Snow White and stuff like that. Straight up pure Disney creation. All of that was almost always centered around Donald Duck and Duckburg and Scrooge McDuck and all of that jazz. And so going through this, it was kind of like remembering how much I loved Donald Duck, you know, and it's just really, really great. So this is like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 comics in here. Let me see how many. What's it got in here? So they're the individual comics, and they have been sort of, from what I can gather, they've been remastered from the comic book, because they were printed like on pulp paper or whatever, and these are like I don't know, remasters or not recreations, but it's a much higher quality. It's a higher quality printing of the old pulp comic books, which are, from what I gather, are collector items. But there's a whole series of these books, because this series went on for Well, let's do the blurb. Maybe it'll tell us. It's probably going to tell us. Let's see here. Donald Duck and his nephews race off on a wild parrot chase to retrieve the lost combination of Uncle Scrooge's. Oop, I've got the book in the way. Uncle Scrooge's safe, or Scrooge will be left penniless. Next, a sinister stranger Shanghai's. Oh, it's hard sentence. Sinister stranger Shanghai's. Sinister strangers Shanghai's. A sinister stranger Shanghai's Donald and the boys, whisking them away to uncover a lost city in the desert and the danger that lurks within. Then, in vacation time, one of Carl Barks' best, Donald must brave a furious forest fire to rescue Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Plus lots more. Look inside for more than 200 pages of surprise to like comedy adventures, story notes, and all-around comic book excellence. Praise for this series. This is classic art and storytelling from the master of the form. Carl Barks is one of the most brilliant cartoonists of the 20th century. He entertained millions around the world in his timeless tales of Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge. Walt Disney's Donald Duck, the Pixilated Parrot, continues Fantagraphics' acclaimed color series that exquisitely represents all of Barks' classic duck stories to a new generation. That's the name of the printer, Fantastigraphics. This is printed by, so there's like a whole series of them. There's a whole bunch of, like, this went on for like 30 years or something. The dude had a whole career of just writing. Right, pretty much his whole career he was writing Donald Duck. And he, the interesting is, that's all the books in this series are. Why is that not centered? It doesn't seem centered. Oh, because I thought it was this page. Well, that's all the books in the series. There's a bunch of them. It's like volume 5 to volume 26. I don't think they've gotten the earlier stuff. I don't think they have. That they're still printing the earlier volumes. So those are kind of like collector's items. But anyway, okay. Where did these duck stories first appear? That was 1950. Had the cover Ancient Persia. Okay, that's Ancient Persia story. And 1950 was Wild About Flowers. Vacation Time was 1950. So this is all 1950 and 1951. So that's how old these comic books are. And apparently these were just like everybody was buying Donald Duck comic books. It was like the best-selling comic book of all time. I never knew. I thought it was just, I've seen Disney comics. I always just thought it was just like a kind of a side thing. But apparently this was the Disney thing for Donald Duck. This was the thing for Disney. And the art is so fantastic. Even looking back today, the art is just so cute and iconic. Everything that you know about Disney art is in here. Like apparently he wrote the book on how to do Donald Duck. But yeah, like even I don't know, it's the little things. It's the little things that you remember. Like, so you see the car there. Disney had this thing, and I don't know where it's from, but it's definitely in this. It's definitely in here, 1950, where the wheels are like ridiculously rubbery, and they're like wobble all over the place and everything like that. So they don't behave like tires. They behave like balloons, and that's just like kind of a Disney animation thing. And I had totally forgotten about that, and it comes to life right here in the books, in the comics. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's just like a little quirk of the animation and the artwork. But it's a beautiful book. Some of you may know, most of my reading is done in the morning when I do my walk or run, and I do audiobooks. But this, obviously, I had to actually sit down and read. So what was this? Well, this was my toilet reader. If I mentioned, I call them toilet readers. These are things that I could just put down and pick back up at a whim and come and go. I don't have to get invested into reading time. Just I do 5 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 7 minutes here. That's this type of book, and this is great for that. You just pick right up where you were and you continue along. It's very visual, obviously, because it's a comic book. But like, look at this, the art here. This is why you come. Let's see the art. So they are getting their presents. Like I said, there's like half a dozen stories, half a dozen comics in here or so. Some of them are longer, some of them are like multi-part. But anyway, highly recommended. I don't know if I'm going to continue to get more. It was really great. I'm if I do, it'll be because I need something to read on the toilet. But this is fantastic. I loved it, and we'll kind of continue to ramble on. I've said it's amazing so many times. That's all I got for next week. We have The Antidote: Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking by Oliver Berkman. It's another one of those self-help / productivity books. I have a problem. I'll continue exploring it next week. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.